Financial disclaimer. The information provided in this stream is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional financial or investment advice. We are not licensed financial advisors, and the content presented here is based on our personal opinions and experiences. Investing in stocks and other financial instruments involves risk, including the potential loss of capital. Any investment decisions you make are solely your own responsibility, and you should conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment choices. The content we share on this stream may not be accurate, complete, or up to date. Market conditions and financial regulations can change rapidly, and we cannot guarantee the accuracy or reliability of the information presented. We do not endorse or promote any specific stocks, companies, or investment strategies. Any actions you take based on the content of this stream are at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses or damages that may occur as a result. Always remember that past performance is not indicative of future results, and no investment is guaranteed to be profitable. Make informed decisions and consider your risk tolerance before investing any funds. By accessing and using this stream, you acknowledge and agree that we are not responsible for any investment decisions you make as a result of the content presented. You are encouraged to seek advice from qualified financial professionals for personalized guidance. Please invest responsibly and only with money you can afford to lose.
Hey man, just found the next guaranteed multi-bagger.
Hey man, you found another one? What is it this time?
Come check this out.
Welcome to the Laughing Stock, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day. Not a good day in the markets, at least a lot of red as you can see on here. But in my portfolio, what did actual value do today? Now that I look at it, yeah, value was down. It wasn't like a terrible day. It's just not what you want to see. But whatever, it doesn't matter. Like I said, if you read in the caption, I didn't really sell anything. I just noticed that most of the stuff were down. Actually, I did update this though. So this is the current portfolio. Which, like I said, I've been trying all kinds of different things lately. I've been really trying to work on technical analysis. Actually, I've been playing around with charts and playing around with numbers, trying to get everything like fine-tuned, kind of how I want it. Trying to give me better signals, and not that I really use the signals like totally, but the idea is to use the signals as confirmation in a company that fundamentally and value-wise I already like. Just trying to help time things, whether that be taking a position or adding to a position or trimming. So I've been playing around with a ton with the charts. But Shinseo was down a lot today, so I'll have to see what's going on there. That one might have broken down a little bit. And still, some of these things still aren't updated. Like, what is going on here? I still have things in here that aren't supposed to be. I don't know how it updated this, but it did it wrong. Whatever, we'll have to fix it. I don't know where it pulled. I don't know why it does this. Oh, you know what? It's weird because I deleted that and then I copied and pasted it, and it must have kept it. That's weird that it keeps that. Which that makes me wonder. I believe these are right, so just be aware that these could be out of order now too, now I'm thinking about it, because I have to copy and paste this in, which is, I know it's kind of stupid, but that's really all I can do. There's no way to do it otherwise. But obviously I messed that up a little bit, but either way, it doesn't matter. You know, and there's some non-value stuff in here too, because like I said, I've been trying to play around with stuff, so like that should be, but that's not Alto. Alto's not that high up, so I don't know why it's even. I have no idea how that's even in there twice, because Alto's like my smallest position right now. It's way down here. It's something with the way I copied and pasted. Doesn't matter. What else we got going on here? Is anything up today? Oh yeah. Neo G. There was some insider buying on that. I don't know exactly what was going on in the chart there, but one thing was working out. We'll take it. don't know if there's any news on that. Oh, I don't have a... Oh, yeah. Well, I can pull up Seeking. That's close enough. Yeah, I mean, good price action. I don't know. I don't even know what causes that volume. I'm on 5-year weekly. Let's do 1-year daily. Yeah, I mean, that's quite a bounce. But yeah, like I've been working on just some basic technical signals, trying to time things a little bit better. Yeah, because the idea I'm thinking of, you know, if it falls into somewhere in my value range, you know, it's not like you're always going to be able to capitalize the entire thing, and sometimes the market just hands you something for cheap. But in the meantime, too, trying to buy some stuff that don't have quite the margin of safety I would like, because, for instance, this, do I have this pulled up? No, I don't actually. Let's actually pull up the OGs just so you guys can see it. So if you don't know, they're dedicated to a range of products and services dedicated to food and animal safety. They operate through 2 segments. The food safety consists primarily of diagnostic test kits and products sold to food producers and processors to detect dangerous and or unintended substances in human food, animal feed, blah, blah, blah. And then its animal safety is developed, manufacturing, marketing, and distributed of veterinary instruments, pharmaceutical vaccines, topicals, pesticides. So just a mix of different stuff in kind of healthcare, but more for food, essentially. So obviously things have been a little ugly, but you know, that's par for the companies I look at. You know, and they actually had slightly positive earnings, even though the cash flow has kind of been ugly. They had positive cash flow from operations, but simple free cash flow was still negative. Book value's gotten a little better. They sold something last year, but not too crazy. So let me just pull this up here, just make sure I can see if anyone's talking. The balance sheet's pretty rough. They got $890 in debt. They took on all this debt, but the reason why I wasn't concerned is it's not due right now. So it does make me curious. Was there any other news on this one? News. I mean, all day it just kind of saw a steady climb. Volume's been okay. Yeah, I mean, we'll see if it holds up. But yeah, I mean, see, and this is what I'm talking about. You know, some of the technical signals I was using kind of helped me to take a jump at this one. And the idea is to help try and find stuff towards their 52-week lows, or whether even, I mean, that's one of the ways I screen, but also when stuff just on like a few different metrics or whatever I'm looking at, you know, something's gonna make it seem cheap to me. You know, just regular price to book on this is pretty cheap. Now I know that's not tangible, but it means more than that. Oh, Value Hunters got COVID. Sorry, man. Looked at the market yet today. Looks like lots of red. Yeah, it was a red day. I didn't even get a chance to pull up my portfolio until I was on lunch, and I was like, ugh. I was like, I didn't want to look at that. I mean, not like anything down crazy or anything like that. And like I said, right now I'm pretty diversified, so it's actually a lot less stressful because, you know, if one position's down, it's who cares? It doesn't really mean much. But yeah, I hope it's not hitting you too hard, man. Every time I get COVID, which I've only had it twice, I think, but both times I get like the full flu symptoms. It's a pain. Oh, that's what I wanted to do is check when the debt is due. But yeah, like I was saying, value. I've been just trying to work on technicals. I think it's a important part to focus on, especially because like I've been looking at some of the companies that I really liked in the past, and if I would have used some more technical indicators to kind of time things, I could have done much better. And the idea is to find some stuff that works kind of across the board, you know, decently. And it's not like I'm going to buy or sell just on technicals alone. I have on a few companies in the portfolio right now, and that's literally just because I'm testing things, and they're small positions. You'll see it's like, you know, like 0.5% or 0.25% or something like that, whatever it is. So just playing around with that. But I have noticed quite a few trends that kind of give it some kind of credence, I guess. So, you know, I'm excited because I just think it's something else just to throw into the mix of things that I look at. So they have senior notes and where is, I swear, oh, okay, senior notes due in 2030. Okay, so is that, they have the senior notes, the term loan, and the term loan's the bigger one. They have a small finance lease, so who cares about that? Sorry, my eyes cannot find this right now. Oh, okay. No principal payments through fiscal year 2026 due to 100,000 in prepayments made in fiscal 2023. Random? We're Oh, okay. 2027. Thank you. Sorry, guys. If you see it and you're screaming at me, put it in the comments so I don't look like an idiot. 27 and what was the other one? 28? Is that what it was? Or 26? Or no, that's when there's no payments due. 2030. Oh, okay. Okay. So plenty of time. Plenty of time. So that's what I thought I remember when I looked last time. I didn't think anything was due right away, which is part of the reason why I've been pushing myself to go more into some of these companies. Now, I get kind of on a not really conservative basis, like $19 could be a high. Now, metric-wise, that's definitely based off previous numbers and, you know, assuming that they can turn this book value around. And they are diluting shareholders pretty bad this last year, or last 2 years, I should say. So it's definitely got a lot of risk attached to it. And, I mean, you can see it. But part of what, you know, something I'm looking at too is, you know, you can see that the price action gets down here into like the 1550s and then it'll jump up to the $20. And I know it's not the best return, especially on a more risky company, but, you know, trying to get into some of these kind of swing trades is my goal with some of these technicals that I'm working on. So, and it's probably on this breakout here that some of the technicals I've been using have showed to come in here, and I guess I can't argue that if this holds up here, this would be a prime example of it working well. You know, I mean, there's little things like RSI on this chart looks pretty good actually. I wonder how well does that work on a longer chart. Let's do, where's 3-year weekly? That's what I want. 3-year weekly. Not so good with the RSI on that one. But how do I have RSI set up as 14 as the parameter? So it must be the previous 14 sessions. So if I did just, and this is like what I've been playing around with. Okay, so you do a low number, you get a lot more signal, so it's more noisy. So we want less noise. So, and this is like what I've been doing. I've just been playing around with this. So like 25, that would have showed you like a true bottom here, and if you would have bought on that and just kind of held, anywhere you decided to get out of here. I mean, you could have held it till now, which I don't know if I'd recommend that, but you know, even if you use that it crossed over the midline here, and as it starts to break down here, maybe you could pull out there, which would still be like going from just shy of $12 to, let's say you bought it at the very low. I mean, $18 and you bought it at 12, so it's was that 50% increase? So 50%, it's not bad. And I mean, there wasn't too much work in terms of technicals on that. Now, obviously, it's not going to work every time, but you get my idea. I'm just trying to spitball ideas, looking at different things. That one thing I love about stock charts, you can sit here all day playing with all these things. You know, I've been working with MACD, stochastics, RSI. You know, I'm sure if you know anything about technical analysis, the same thing. But there's one it worked out for. So, and like I said, not all of them will. So let's pull up one that didn't. So Trinseo, let's see what's going on here. And I think it was a chart that got me to also purchase Trinseo. And you'll notice too, like my confidence in Trinseo is a 1. So it's not like this is like a high conviction idea. You know, this is highly risky. I guess in some of my valuations, I get like a high of like 358. You could argue. Now that being that everything's gonna have to turn around. I mean, this balance sheet looks horrible. A lot of debt here. So obviously we're gonna start looking at some kind of dilution. They've been buying shares back, I guess, which is kind of crazy. But it could be a lot of this stuff. I don't know if the markets are changing. I'm trying to remember if I last time I read an article on this. I can't remember if the markets are changing and that's why stuff's so tough for them, or if it's just cyclical. He wrote this in January. Not a great time to buy it. But either way, this is another one. So, you know, this is kind of what I've been doing here. Along with, so like this one would have never given you a buy signal on RSI, which I mean isn't a bad thing to me. You know, that's my goal is I rarely want a buy signal on some of these things. So that way I'm you know, it's just like another thing like this rarely happens with the stock. And if it falls into my value range, you know, just give me a little credence in terms of thinking maybe this is a buy. So blah, blah, everything's terrible. Obviously this is a falling knife that he should not have taken a stab at. There was some insider buying, that guy was saying, which is listed here. So what were they buying at? Man, they were buying high. $8? That just seems so high. Let's go to a shorter chart here. And see, so this is another one, like, let's go, see, yeah, and then RSI, see, like, and that's what I'm saying, like, RSI doesn't work on this one. So that's why, and you really need to combine technicals. You can't use one like this is showing. I have a bunch of different ways I have it set up over here. But, you know, my point being is, you know, even if you inspect this here, you know, if you're somehow able to start to see that there's a bottom here, and you can get out anywhere in here, it's 30% return in the course of, you know, technically it could be done in like 2 weeks, but let's say you held through a month, whatever. But you know, if you're able to hit those pretty well. It's up after hours, but volume's pretty steady. And like I said, this one, you know, I don't have a lot of confidence in. So this is one that's really tough, because to me, you know, without even looking at a chart, I see that and I just assume it's doing this. It's that it's straight down. But I feel like that's another thing too, is sometimes, you know, when the chart looks really ugly. RK used to say that. Which, by the way, I forgot to even put that in there. You know, RK's back out there, posted his position, a massive position in GameStop. He's got a ridiculous amount of option contracts. What else? I think they expired June 21st, if I remember right. So we'll see. What did GameStop even do today to hold up at all? I just wonder now. You know, I don't want to knock the guy, because, you know, obviously I'm a huge fan, but I don't know. I wonder how much it holds up, because on paper, if he's not getting rid of those calls, did he actually say? I forget. Let me go to Reddit real quick. Of course, you encountered an error. Did he post again? June 3rd. What's today? No, today's the 4th. He didn't post? What time did he... Well, I wonder what time he posted this. Yeah, isn't that weird that you can't post on Wall Street Bets about GameStop? Like, Wall Street Bets used to just not care about anything, and it is not what it used to be. But okay, I just clicked that link, but this is from yesterday. So this is the same thing. Got a whole community here. Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't need to get into the politicalness of all this. It just said deep value entered the stock. Where do you chat? I don't know how you even chat on here. Does anyone use this? Value, do you use this? Just said deep value has entered the chat up here. Oh, is that just when I put my mouse over this? Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought it was like a pop-up saying that the guy was here, like, talking on one of the pages here. All right, whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, I am surprised that these guys are buying at these levels. With you know, I mean, this is 50,000 shares, which is an increase of 169% in his position. So not a small amount. Maybe it's a small amount of money to him. I don't know about that, but just kind of strange. And then when I go to my dash, where's Chinseo in here? So it's like a 1% position, maybe just over. You know, on a price to sales, it's cheap. They have good retained earnings. Yeah, I got you, value. Yeah, I mean, we'll keep checking here. Maybe we'll see when he posts. The other spot too is if I pull up X, I'm sure if anything happens on X, you would see it. Was it the Roaring Kitty, right? Is he posting memes today? No, just the reverse Uno card and then his positions. Kind of like back in the old day. I feel like it's kind of like how it used to be. All right. Yeah, I don't think there's much else to say. I mean, it's at it's around its 52-week low. 52-week low is at 259. Because, like I said, having all the positions in the portfolio. Hey, Rizius. Yeah, I mean, trust me, they're super hard to time. And I was even that was another thing I was playing around with. Like when I'm playing around with the technicals, there's a few different companies I was looking at trying to work on the technical side of things. So for instance, I know we had talked about well, obviously we talked about BNED, but in BNED, you know, if you get a signal to buy, like, you know, I could do all these things with MACD and RSI and stuff like that, and stochastic and whatever kind of oscillator you want to use, basically. And you know, I'll get buy signals somewhere in here usually. It'll tell you to start buying around here, and then you know, you would have this bullishness here up until that news came out. And how do you trim your position as you're going up here? Because if you get to this point up here and you haven't trimmed, this day you get smacked, and hopefully in after hours you notice it. Either that or you put some kind of stop loss on. But that's another thing I actually have to check with my broker. I don't know if I put a stop loss on, does it get triggered in after hours if a stock like plummets, or would it trigger in the morning? Which either or, if the stock's already down, you know, then it's going to trigger a market order. It's like, you know, you're gonna lose everything you got. So the goal is to avoid these massive drop offs with indicators, essentially. You know, and to try and catch somewhere close to the bottom. But you know, and like I said, the trick is not having too much noise in there, because there's so much noise with some of the technicals. You know, and you could have rode this up, and you know, and then if it had told you to get out somewhere here, that would be beneficial. So that's why I said, like I said, I'm just playing around with some things to try and, you know, I guess on oversold, this one, you know, anytime it taps oversold for RSI, it's like an immediate sign, get the hell out. That works. I mean, it actually works pretty well for BNED. GME, it works too. Not perfectly, but I'm just saying, if you had given you an indicator to purchase here, but it is volatile, and it's going to be hard to find something that matches all these. And then like for instance, I had ARC pulled up because ARC was one that I started trimming definitely a lot throughout here, and I think I finally finished my trimming back in here, maybe here. I can't exactly remember. And ARC used to be AIDS. If you guys don't remember, it's Advanced Emissions. They just changed the name. But anyways, I was looking at a bunch of technicals, and if I wasn't super strict with like the MACD, it would have told you basically to hold this whole period. And you know, that's like a real goal, because my cost basis on it was I bought in October. No. Yes. So it must have been here. I must have bought in here. I think I got around It was definitely in October that I bought this one. So it's probably somewhere in here that I bought. And it was low. So it could have been $1.70. And then I think I sold most of it, like I said, in here. It must have been I sold a big chunk in here on these. And then on this pullback here, I sold the rest. Anyways, you know, not knowing that it was going to do this and capture. And then I bought back in here and sold somewhere in here too. So I did capture some of this move. But obviously, it would have been awesome to time it somewhere more down here and then hold it. And actually on some of my indicators I saw it told you to buy here and hold it all the way through. Hold it, and it just gave a sell signal on some of them. So, but the problem is if you use that same one, for instance, for BNED, it wouldn't alert you to the fact that there's a steep drop off. So that's another thing too. I was just thinking, if I was to use this, I could just slowly sell out of the position on peaks or something like that. Or some other kind of indicator, just keep selling pieces of the position. So then that way, if you do get smacked, you sold a bunch of stuff already at a top, essentially, and you wouldn't take such a hit. And Johnny and I have been talking a lot about it because he's getting ready to start, you know, kind of diversifying his portfolio and whatnot and play around with that. So, and sorry, I know this isn't my normal typical value stream just because, like I said, I've been like kind of going nuts with this technical analysis stuff. So, but I think it's good. I think it's something different. I think it's important to kind of keep an eye on all these things anyways. But the goal is to try and nail these. Another one that I did really well was on adherent. And with MACD, for instance, and I really did well on this one. But once again, I sold off somewhere in here. Maybe it was starting on this pullback. Maybe that's when I started to, and then it popped back up above, so I just figured to get out. But, you know, if you can ride these things up higher and not have such noisy signals that tell you to get out a little bit earlier, I think there's something to it, you know. Like I said, these are companies I really liked in the first place, and that's kind of what gave me an idea of, you know, start watching the charts. And then from that point on, if you did start to take a position down here, you could basically just ride it up and because let's pull up adherent real quick. And adherent's just they were going to benefit from the fact that Google's starting to eliminate cookies, or that was part of what I was excited about. Because I thought that could release a bunch of information, because they're basically doing the same thing that cookies are doing in a different form, and eventually I think Google and everybody else is going to stop using cookies. I don't know if they're forced to or something, but they already had started eliminating a certain amount of percent of cookies that they're putting out. Like, you know, when you're searching websites, I'm not talking baking cookies, if you guys didn't know that. But you know, fundamentally, I thought it looked decent. Not like the strongest of companies by any means, but not terrible by any means. And balance sheet was clean. And I think, like I said, I was looking at it and it was down here, like around like $1.20, and I had the valuation at like 230. And I know these numbers are kind of skewed just because it's not that old of a company, but you know, 67 million in cash, so they're just sitting on cash here. So I start to see all that kind of stuff. I start to see something that could possibly change these earnings around. And, you know, they did have positive earnings here. So just something to think about. I can't remember. Was there someone that owned this? I feel like there was someone else that owned this. Of course it doesn't, so whatever. This Koenig character. And Hana Alternative Investments. I mean, that's a lot of shares. That just those two. Hig Growth is another one. So I mean, these are some large positions for some of these people. Kaz here has it as 8.7% or 8.4% of their portfolio. So you know, those are other little signals I've been watching on. We'll just refresh this, see if anything's up. No, I'm curious what other people are thinking about Roaring Kitty. Like I said, I don't care the guy posts his positions. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's absolute BS that people are saying that, like, you know, he's causing any kind of manipulation. You don't have to buy the stock. I could sit here and tell you guys I like a stock. I specifically say in all our disclaimers, don't purchase a stock just because I tell you I like it. You know, it makes no sense. And you'll watch me make mistakes. So definitely don't do what I do all the time, because, you know, I'm still learning and everything like that. I'm getting better at it, but and obviously the goal once I get going on alongside with the technicals is I will start to have less positions in the portfolio. Right now I'm just kind of playing around. You know, it's at this point it's not a real rush. You know, I took the hit on BNED anyway, so I figure I might as well take this as an opportunity to learn from that, and then because I still appreciate having concentrated positions. Concentrated positions are really the way to get outsized returns. You know, if you're trying to shoot for yeah, right value, and that's I think maybe that's what some people are arguing, is that he's maybe other people know about his positions, or someone was telling me that they think he's even financed through it, which I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's crazy the guy's got $200 million now to spend on GameStop, but maybe he's been trading it the whole time in the background, and if he has been, you know, he's got enough capital too. I mean, he can cause the stock price to move up and down, and I'm not saying that's what he's doing, and you know, regardless of he's obviously a master at following GameStop and understanding kind of the overall I don't know, just I guess the like conversation about it that most people are having. So got up to 30 there, and it's pulled back. Although this isn't truly the numbers. Still got 50 million in volume though. I mean, it's always crazy to me how much that stock moves. Just because I haven't pulled them up in a minute. Let's see what's going on with GameStop. And they just raised so much money. Oh my gosh, they sold another chunk of shares here too. And like, it's crazy too. Like, for instance, BNED gets plummeted into the ground because they offer shares. Now granted, I understand it's 2.6 billion shares, which is stupid. But at the same time too, you got a company like GameStop, it's like, hey, we're gonna sell, I don't remember what it was, 90 million shares or something. I don't know, 9 million shares, whatever it was. And you know, people buy, no problems. They'll spend whatever. I mean, I get a high valuation around $25 right now, and the stock's at 26, so it's not that crazy. I will say, you know, even after this whole saga, I am disappointed in the cash returns. I mean, you can start to see on a 7-year basis, this stuff's really starting to drag down. You know, revenues continue to decline. We're back to 2020 kind of numbers. But the one thing, as I've been saying, they have going is they got a ridiculous amount of cash on their balance sheet. So it's not like the company's at like risk of anything. It's more just like the thesis is that they're going to have a turnaround. And where is that turnaround? You know. And I'm not saying there's not something going on in the background. I don't follow stock that closely, so don't listen to me in terms of whether that's right or wrong. But I mean, if RK just, you know, every time the stock gets low is just buying options and just kind of, you know, watching it, because how many times has it popped? I mean, I feel like it's been like back and forth nonstop. Like if we look at a long-term chart for GME here, let's do 5-year weekly. I mean, I don't know how well you can time this kind of thing, which is part of why I'm saying, you know, and obviously Roaring Kitty was a master in terms of technicals, and you know, that's one thing I think. And I've said it before on here too, is that the guy had to have had a lot of money. People say he made a $50,000 bet on GameStop, but when he posted in his portfolio, it was I don't know, like 5% when he posted that, which means, like I said, he's got $800,000. You know, and he was he worked at some investment firm or whatever he did, but you know, it's not like killer money, you know. And he lived outside of Boston, which is expensive. I don't know if you've ever been over there. So I imagine he must have done pretty well just through stocks themselves, and he always commented about, you know, him working on technicals as well. So I don't know, maybe he timed a lot of these bottoms well. I mean, especially if you time it with some option contracts, you can make an absolute killing. It's kind of crazy. It's been this long, actually, since all this happened. So I think I started watching his streams somewhere like right here, like somewhere in December or November is where I first started watching. That's what gave me the whole idea to do all this anyways. But all right, it's enough about that. Let's see what's going on with some of these other tickers. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just update my list here because I have all these tickers that I want to look at anyway, so I might as well just update the list because I'm going to have to do them one by one anyways. So let's go back to some charts here. What's another... And I've been trying to pull up just like random names, like Tesla, for instance. You know, and this is just like a test of some of the different indicators I've been using, and the numbers I literally have changed these numbers like 1,000 times, so don't think this is like anything that matters. But you know, I'm looking at down here at like the MACD as it crosses over here, and you start to see on a moving average as well as this, it tells you to buy. Now, granted, this is the problem. It's like a little late. It tells you to get out way too late here. So then it's like you're trying to trim these numbers down, but you also don't want it to constantly be giving you buy signals in here. And for instance, and the goal would be here is that, and I think this is only like a 6-month chart or something here. So if we were to look out further, this is a daily one too. So, and I know this starts to look choppy, so that's why it's kind of a pain. But you know, for instance, okay, so if you had done this one, let's say we buy somewhere in here, it tells us basically on all three of these to get out here. Same idea, you buy in here, tells you to get out here. You buy in here, it tells you to get out here. If you were to consistently do that, now granted, it doesn't always work. Like this is a good example of it working. So I don't know, maybe and I have to keep reading more on technical analysis anyways. But even when it's not great, like this one here where it starts to break down, even if you were to sell out somewhere in here on this day as it starts to collapse, like, you know, if you got in here, you wouldn't have really lost anything. So that's kind of why I've been playing around with some of this stuff. And I don't really want to use daily. I was just trying to see if I could get more nitpicky with it. But at the same time too, like this is another example. You know, you could get in on here, and even on this breakout here. Yeah, and this is why I said you could sell on peaks. So, you know, at the end of the day, what is it on this day? The high's 198. You know, and you could put stop losses in. There's a bunch of different things you could do. And like I said, I'm not trying to trade, which this is more trading. And I've quickly learned today that even with like daily stuff, like I can't find something that works consistently across the board with all things. So anybody who can trade successfully with anything like this, I give you credit, because with me, I would still, and like I said, you know, I'm showing you some of these bigger moves here, but there's false signals all the time. Like here's a false signal that tells you to get in and get right out. So like there'd be a lot, if you were using daily, you'd be like buying and selling this like every few days, which I guess if you're not getting smacked on the downside, it's probably not a big deal. But like for BNED, for instance, too. So like, you know, here's this huge peak here, which it did tell you to buy, you know, somewhere on this breakout here. But then, you know, you wouldn't have gotten out until that next day when the price was collapsing. And I mean, if you got out too late, you know, it could have been, it opened at 220. So actually, well, I guess you could have got out. If you got out and you sold right away, if it really opened at 220, that's what it says. I'm kind of dumbfounded. It says it opened at 220. Yeah, so I guess if you caught the news, maybe you could have got out, but And like another one, you know, this one right here, it tells you to buy, and then you get to like this point here, and it's it's a steep drop off, you know. So it's like a pain because you wait too long there, and you get murdered on this drop here. But like Rizius, we were talking about BNED, you know, and I was talking about timing. For instance, it gives you a buy signal somewhere down here, essentially, if you look at all three of these combined. And then this one doesn't really cross right there, which basically means even through this up and down, you wouldn't have pulled back, and you would have held it. And actually, the first time it really tells you to get out is up in here, which even if you ended up buying at 20 cents, and even if you sold it late on this day, the close was 45, it'd still be a 150% return. So it's like, you know, I mean, it's and that's assuming you didn't trim on any of this, you know, with all that crazy momentum going on. That's like I said. I mean, this is just why I'm pulling up some of these things, like ARC, for instance. It's telling you to buy around here, but then it doesn't tell you to hold through this whole thing. That's why, like, if you slow down MACD to, like, I don't know, let's try 10. It's gonna have to. I'm gonna have to adjust all my numbers because it's daily on this. But if you've looked at like some of the weekly ones, it doesn't nearly give you all these signals. So it's something to think about. It does call this giant jump here too. I mean, it does tell you to buy kind of right in here. I don't know. You might have missed this very bottom here, but maybe if you caught it on this day. But same thing, even if, let's say you even waited and you bought it, you saw the closed at 509, the next day it opens at 530, you buy at 530 on this, and then the next time it really tells you to get out is somewhere in here, and the close is 630, still $1. I mean, not a big gain, but what is this, March 14th to April 4th, so it's was that like a 15% gain? Yeah, it's not much. I don't know. It just depends. But that's what I'm saying. But if you had bought down here and held it through this whole thing, I mean, you're talking that's like a triple at least, double, triple, like $1.60. Let's say you bought there. Let's just round up, say $2. So and then let's say you sold somewhere around 6. So it's almost a double. And that's not a long amount of time. That's from November to April, so in a few months. But like I said, the goal is to find these things that, you know, can give you at least 50% returns. All right, so I have Solo Brands here, develops and produces ingenious lifestyle products that market and deliver through its direct-to-consumer platform and wholesale partnerships. Has a bunch of outdoor brands. I feel like I copied them or covered them on the stream not too long ago. I get a higher value, just above 2. You could argue it could go higher than that. Earnings are rough still. Nothing really on that front there. But they are generating free cash flow, so they're buying shares back. But they have taken on a lot of debt already. And like a good 2023, or I guess that's more, yeah, I guess it's 2023 going backwards, and then well, no, that must be more 2022, and then 2024 has not been good. But did they buy something? Yeah, they spent 44 million. I was just gonna say, I was like, why is this so negative? So, you know, if you take that into consideration, this may not look as bad as it looks. Book values went down a little bit, but not terribly. There's an insider buy. Metric wise, I think it looks pretty good. A lot of green. Green is good. So like this is another one too. So let's put DTC in here real quick. So there's another one. That's what I'm saying. Like some of these drop offs, you gotta watch these things, because I guess this one would actually told you to get out right in time. So that's what I'm saying. You know, you could have gotten in here And I guess it would have told you to get out here. And then maybe you could have got a little bit of this. This probably would have been a break even, but you know, I'm okay with break even. But this one, this is ugly. This tells you right there's a quick buy, and I guess, yeah, see, this doesn't tell you to sell all the way if you were going to follow all three of these markers. So that'd be a loss. So this one, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's probably too long of a time frame. Yeah. So they got a new CEO to reignite growth. These guys got it on hold. And they followed it too, which they had a buy back in December. Which, if they cashed out, great, but I doubt it. Just seeing if they... Revenues declined 3%, declined 6.8%. Which they're proud of because it went down 21% before that. So, I mean, they're working on changing things. So not a real impressive transcript there. Let's see if this person said anything that matters. Yeah, I have looked at this because I remember analyzed this picking on that poor guy. Yeah, I mean, whatever. You can judge whatever you want. There's not much to go off of on a company with this young of a history, essentially. So what is 52-week low? So it's close to a 52-week low right now. So so that's what I'm saying. If we're looking at the chart here, could have timed a small run in there. But whatever. I mean, it's not doing much. Let's do try like a faster moving average. Nah, it just gives more noise. And this one I would tell you to buy here and get out there. It's a little more accurate. So I don't know. I actually want to go back to a longer one just because there was that drop off here. So if you did this, it'd signal a buy somewhere in here and tell you to get out somewhere in here, I guess. Yeah, I mean, so that would have worked. But once again, this spot, you get screwed. But yeah, I just bought another book on swing trading, which, you know, like I said, I'm not really planning on trading this stuff. My goal is, like I said, for instance, on like a company I really like, RX1. You know, I feel like if you're in a bullish trend because of the fundamentals and whatnot, then it makes this so much easier to follow. Let's put this back up. I don't even know what I had it at 5. So this would have worked out pretty well. Like I said, you wouldn't have captured this whole jump here, but you would have captured enough. I mean, if you were able to get in here somewhere on this day, around 3-ish, I mean, you almost could get a double. And I'm talking in 2 weeks. And this is on a company I'd be confident to take a larger position in. Why didn't this update? EXTR, what's going on here? I feel like we need like music or something for the stream. It's like too quiet. All right, so this isn't very levered. Has it been a while since I looked at this? Oh, I just didn't get as high of a valuation. Yeah, I don't have it's very cheap. I think that was my issue with it, is it was too expensive for me, and that's just because the balance sheet, which they don't have a lot of debt. So why is that? Why does that seem so high? They don't have a ton of cash either. But Jason said he's still in BNED. What was the chart doing on that one? Or just I guess just look at the price action here. Or are you asking, am I still in BNED, Jason? Let's look at this one with a chart. Yeah, my bullshit indicators here tell me to get out. That I've made up. And like I said, this is a daily one, which I don't really plan on using daily. I was more just playing around with this to see if I could. I'm just trying to see if I can see any kind of signals. But I feel like this one's that would have been a pretty clear success here if you would have bought on this, because it tells you on this day really to buy. Let's say you got at the low, which is 21 cents, and you sold here. Let's say you waited on that day and you sold at the low. Yeah, it's 45. So that's a little better actually than the last time I looked at it. So whatever I changed down here helped a little bit. Like I said, some of these steep drop-offs too, that's where it can catch you, because this doesn't take into account these drop-offs that quick. If we put this to 3, depends if you can sneak through this part here, because it's super close on this one to tell you to get out. So I don't know if you would. I don't know if most people would be daring to hold through that period down there, down to 18 cents, because it would be daring. Although I guess, I don't know, would you want this more sensitive then? So if we did like a 3-day moving average on this, this would definitely tell you to sell and then rebuy right here. But this is on this huge day up, so then you miss this whole bottom here. So I don't know if I like that any better. I think I'd rather not be buying and trading as much. Like almost do like this and have it a little bit later. But like I said, it's stock dependent, so it just kind of depends. All right, did this pull up? What was I doing on here? Is that what I was doing, is pulling up extreme anyways? Actually, I just want to go to a regular chart. All right, so we're bouncing off the bottoms here. They have positive net cash. Where are they taking on? No, they're actually paying that debt down right now. It doesn't look that bad. Earnings are negative this year, which probably doesn't help. Oh, he's just blurring it out there. Hey man, I feel you. Oh god, I lost a lot on BNED, so I feel the pain. But we're all covered calls. I'm a novice investor. Yeah, honestly, I don't play around a lot with options, even option strategies like you're talking. Not to say it's probably a good idea, especially if you have capital sitting there and you're trying to hedge your gains essentially, or hedge your losses really. But like I said, that's why the goal is with these charts, for instance, to make it a little easier on where's that? This one? Yeah, the test one. Trying to use some signals too, like I said. So if something like kind of falls in my value range where I like it, like back here in, you know, when it was up to $17, you know, I'm probably not looking at it. That's probably why I rated it low last time, because if it was that high last time I looked at it, it's just too expensive for me. Like it's not. Don't get me wrong, the numbers here are good, and you know, when it was making $1.70. During this year, yeah, I could see it jump that high. You know, you could easily argue, you know, 10 times net cash flow or simple free cash flow, especially for the company. That's per share, but that would mean that you're getting, you know, a $70 price tag. Which, what did it do on the chart? I mean, that's basically what it got up to. So let's just go a little bit further out. I'm trying to see where it got to. But see, I mean, it was much higher than that even too. So even back then, I don't know. This might not have been something I was looking at either. But I think that's why I'm focusing on some of the stocks I have been looking at, because I want to know how much I can rely on technicals to kind of solidify my position. And even if I don't have to, even if I just, you know, continue to buy kind of how I had before, I was really paying attention so much to the technicals. If I use it to kind of trim and use it as a warning to possibly get out of a position, that's probably more how I'm going to lean on it, is what I would imagine. Because like I said, some of the signals are super noisy. And I mean, you could change this, like, let's get wild. We could go monthly. Let's do like a 2-year chart here. And I'm going to have to update all of this. But, like, let's say you're long-term, like, you're a more long-term investor. Like, this would tell you essentially to buy in here. And you'd get out around 17. Yeah, it depends on where you got in here. And that's the other thing, too, is you're looking at these charts in hindsight, too. So it's not like these indicators are super obvious as it's going on. But here's another one. You know, I mean, so technically, if you bought at 14, sold at 17, there's a few bucks. Bought again on this. Let's say you got in at 20, got out. See, it would be close to. See, that's what I'm saying. You gotta have to adjust this one to have a little bit less. It's gonna smooth it worse. Because now this parameter is going to be monthly. So if we're going to do monthly, maybe we want to go a lot less, like 2 months. Maybe that's too much. If you guys play around with this stuff, please give me any hints that you guys are aware of, because it would be helpful to me. But really, it's this MACD that's messing with us. So let's do 5 months minus 10 months, and we'll say on a 3-month average. See, this looks like it works a little better. So it would have told you to buy somewhere in here. Told you to get out here, and then another buy here. Told you to get out there. That's not so bad. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I don't like the daily stuff. It's too fast for me. But then probably something on BNED like this, it might not work. See, like BNED, you buy in here and it's telling you to hold this entire time, and you're just gonna get killed. So that's what I'm saying. I'm playing around because, you know, it looks good on one company. I'm like, oh, this looks great. And then I pull up another one. I'm like, this would murder you. You would get destroyed doing this. So it's tough. It's tough. I like I said, I'm like, my brain is like getting racked trying to figure out technicals. I'm definitely more confident on the fundamental side, seeing things that I've compared to others. And I mean, that's part of the reason I use Seeking too. Just to get other investors who are, you know, been doing this longer than I have and get kind of their opinion. And, you know, I don't always follow what they say, but $0.60 a share as sales fall to 1.13 billion. However, they see a rebound for year 2026 when earnings will rise to 83 cents a share on flat sales growth. And like, this is another thing too. So like, you know, if you're looking for 50% returns, where was that? So let's do EXTR. You know, this is, you got a buy signal in July and a sell in January, and would you make like $5? So not that that's bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not bad, but I don't think that's quick enough. And maybe I want less signal here. Let's try 4 month. Because if it could tell you to start to get out more up here, that would be ideal. Because if you could capture this somewhere around like 23 bucks and you bought in around 10, I mean, that's over a double. So that's that in from July to about a year. I mean, that's fine with me. I'll take a double in a year. So that's more probably how I'm thinking of something like this. Let's look at just a longer. So this is a 3-year. So that one worked okay. And then this is the same one that we saw. So this one, it's not as great of a buy and sell here, but not bad. Although this stochastic up here isn't telling you necessarily to get in on this one. But maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's letting you know that, hey, this isn't a substantial. Although it is, like, that, it kind of sucks to think that you would totally miss a price jump from 10 to 5 or 15, because if you got some part of that, I mean, that's 50% right there. So, and that's in the course of 2 months, 3 months, you know, close to. I mean, even if you get 30% on it. Placing our old units and consider new eggs. Yeah, I know value. And like I said, you can see it's not one I had highly rated. Part of the reason I had pulled these in is I had a few different things on charts. I had some stuff coming from 52-week lows. I still actually have to pull in stuff from the dashboard. I haven't even screened through some of these. This is actually from the weekend, and I still got stuff from. I'm just behind these technicals. I've been wasting too much time on this. So hopefully I don't get too far behind. But my point being is, a lot of times value, I feel like the companies I look at, they look crappy. Like, there's a lot going on that's wrong. And but sometimes you can catch these turnarounds in these companies. And, you know, there's always insider information, regardless of what it seems like. Like, let's pull up Alto, for instance. Like, you know, Alto is one of those ones that, I mean, maybe this chart doesn't do it justice because it's too long being monthly or whatever. But I feel like with some of the price action, you can start to see like smart money or some of the bigger guys start to trim some of their positions, which is kind of one of the reasons I want to use the charts more. What did it look like for BNED? Oh yeah, BNED was the one that didn't work out great for. Just this monthly. Like, I think the monthly's too much. And I'm not going down to like hours or days or well, maybe days for the year or something like that. But yeah, my problem here is this book value on this company is so low. All right, we'll keep moving. All right. ORGO, it's a regenerative medicine company focused on the development, manufacture, and commercialization of solutions for the advanced wound care and surgical sports medicine market. Wound care, surgical biologics, including orthopedics and spine. Its advanced wound care products include Apligraf for the treatment of venous leg ulcers and diabetic foot ulcers, Dermagraph for the treatment of DFUs, PurePly AM as a antimicrobial barrier and native cross-linked extracellular matrix scaffold for a variety of wound types. So, okay, sutures and dressings and all that kind of stuff, but specifically more for sports medicine. Price is $251. They've been buying back shares, it looks like. Margins look decent. Enterprise value is not high, so it looks like very low debt. I'm getting safe on all my metrics. They're still working on simple free cash flow, but they have decent operations, decent earnings. Let's see what the... And I mean, they do have some debt, but not much dues right now. They have $85 million in cash. And they've had positive earnings now for 4 years in a row. Now it's down. It's down quite a bit. I get high side valuation, maybe just shy of $3, somewhere around there. I could see you argue $3. I don't like that the revenue growth has slowed down, because I feel like this is kind of a growthier company, especially it's young. And CapEx was really high these last 2 years. Not so bad this year. Is debt increasing? No, they're kind of paying it back down. Anybody own this? What are you doing? What are you doing to me? All right. Soleus is fourth. And it's a pretty big position for him. And these guys are all healthcare. So for this to be their fourth position, that's not a bad thing. And that's from February 2nd. Does it say how have they been adding or anything? They've been adding. All right, now let's try. See, this one you really got to buy signal around 2. Maybe the goal will just be to use this as my trying to enter here and then just trimming along the way here. What's the actual chart look like? I just want to see what a chart. Wow. Would I get the 52-week low, and I also get a low valuation? Yeah, around $2. So that's the other thing too. Is sometimes my valuation just like it's already saying around $2 that this looks good. So I guess, you know, maybe it's a mix of that. I'll mix that with saying it looks good. Chart looks good. And I know most people when they do technical analysis are drawing lines and trying to see where it breaks down. It's like I probably could do some of that, but I really don't care about the trend lines like that. I'll tell you what, the RSI oversold seems to do a decent job. Like if I was to get a buy signal on here. Oh, this is back to the way I had it set up before. Can I go back? There we go. And when was that? That was in November. That was this peak. So I got a buy signal in here. And then if you just follow that every time to RSI. So how, let's see here. Let's put this at 2 years. And then, hold on, what I want to do is we'll pull up ORGO. I just want to see the regular ORGO chart. So, I mean, it would have worked technically for both these because you would have gotten a buy signal somewhere in here. Let's tighten this up a little bit. So you get your buy signal in here somewhere. And then if you sold on oversold, you get out here. But this is May, right? May, is that what it was? Is that what it was? April, okay. No, March, okay. March and April. And then May is where it starts to show it on. This is a lagging indicator, so. But if you did follow that, and actually ignoring undersold, just more paying attention to getting close to that 52-week low seems to, at least for this. Let's just try. Let's try NVIDIA. Here's an easy one. Don't sell. This might not prove my point. Whoops. So NVIDIA, for instance, you get your first buy at like $1.70 around November. But it would tell you to sell right out. If you actually followed the buy and sell signals on this, you would have actually done really well with NVIDIA. But it has, I feel like it's because it's like such a big stock and it has these like big kind of more sweeping things. So maybe this kind of chart works well for something like NVIDIA. I guess maybe you could do that. You could find a company and just find how the charts historically looked good for the past like few years, and maybe you can make the chart more specific to the company. I don't know how much that would hold. That might bite you. Did RK put it up? No. Now he's not posting. I wonder how much he's down. What was GameStop? It's down 5%. It's up 1%. But what was his numbers? I just want to see. Do you imagine? So this guy's got. This is the calls, right? Yeah. Okay. So these are $20. Now, granted, they're still in the money, so don't get me wrong. It's not like it's a loss by any means. But if it's down 5%, man, the value of this must go down. Or at least the gain on this must go down drastically. Either way, I mean, they're still in the money, so it's not. It's just like it's just mind-boggling to me to watch your portfolio go up by $50 million, you know, up and down. All right. Let's see what else is going on. I just want to go back to my regular chart here. Okay, I mean, I kind of agree. If this continues to pull back, this might get interesting for me. More interesting, I should say. All right, SIFY. SIFY's one I got murdered on. I was up quite a bit, and then had a really bad day. What was the... It's a limited India-based information and communication technology service and solution provider. They include network-centric services, data services, digital services. They have a digital segment for cloud managed services, basically IT, virtual networking, all that kind of stuff. Did they have a terrible earnings? Is that what it was? And so I bought somewhere in here like $1.38 or something, and like I was like, oh, it looks good, and I even trimmed some up at the top here, and then the past 2 days were just really rough. So I'm not really exactly sure why it bounced and dropped quite so much. Is there news on this? Like, what is going on that something goes up and then down that much? It seems kind of crazy to me. Like, what is this wall sell-off here? 1.63 million shares. Oh, they had a rights offering, right? They're going to dilute. So they're raising capital. That's the issue. Which they need it with a debt. Earnings are down. I mean, it generates decent cash flow, but CapEx is too high for them. I mean, what's CapEx? 150 million? Holy smokes. Why is that number so high? That seems insane to me. I mean, hopefully that means they're turning it into something. When is this? This is Q3 for year 22-23. Ugh. Yeah, launch other services, but I don't really want to look at Q3 of 22-23, and it doesn't really help me. So it's been down here before, but I mean, this is as low as it's ever been. This must have all been, but this is from April 22nd, and it's just starting to, like, you would think the news would be good from there based on what that chart showed. Not NVIDIA. No, this is ORGO. I was like, what is going on here? What is their, oh, SIFY. Yeah, so I got in, I think right before this, which is why I was like, oh, this looks great. Things are looking good. And I trimmed here, and then it dropped. And so somewhere in here, I was down. I'm down probably 15% right now. I think that's how much I was down, was like 15, and it's obviously kept trickling a little bit down. But it wasn't that bad. Like I timed this one, the bottom on this one, pretty well. But that's why I'm confused if that's for, like, what does this news in April 22nd have to do with anything with this? Where did this come from? Is it all just the rights offering? Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember. Okay, I remember looking at this. So holders of ADS will receive 1.36 ADS rights for each ADS owned of record at 5 on May 31st. For and purchase one new equity share at a subscription price of Rs 10 per new equity share, which is the Indian rupee equivalent of the US dollar price per new ADS, translated based on the exchange rate in effect on March 31st, 2024, minus the depository fee. Is anyone exactly talking about this rights offering on here? No one's saying anything about this? Latest. It's the problem with X is there's so much just nonsense on here. I don't think there's anyone even talking about this. I don't know. I mean, the rates offering is obviously not great, especially because it's already ADRs. Just kind of annoying. So the subscription period for the rights offering is expected to commence on June 7th and to terminate on June 21st. Company will disclose the final results of the rights offering following the expiration date. Yeah, I was going to say this seems like not a good thing. That's all right. I don't even know. What was the, how big was this position? It's a 1% position. Yeah, I'll probably have to cut that one. Whatever. Because, like I said, because they're just not generating enough to make me think that I should be participating in a rights offering for them. All right, sorry, I gotta zoom in here. Whoops. All right, Petco. Petco is levered and is having a really rough year in terms of pretty much everything besides revenues. Revenues are up, but everything else looks pretty horrible. Did they have a huge bounce? Yeah. This is what I'm saying. Like, this is like an insane bounce. And granted, is Petco probably worth $4 now? I mean, is there anything making this sound like it should be worth $4? Which I highly doubt. Insider buying and a high level of short interest. Oh, is it a squeeze? Then I have, oh yeah, short interest. There's another thing too is paying attention to the names on this list. You never know when the meme army is going to come in. Let's just go to Yahoo. I'm just trying to see what the historical short interests are. Short percentage of float is 32%. It is high. Shares outstanding is only 10%, but it is 32% of the actual float. And that's from May 15th. So they've probably sold out quite a bit then. Oh my, I gotta get rid of some of these. I'm gonna check one more time, see if he posted. Nope. He would have posted by now. It's 9 o'clock. Well, this one's obviously too late. But another reason why I'm saying, you know, sometimes on these technicals I might get interested in these kind of things. And I have it, you know, levered. This one's more of a bankruptcy concern. But I still have this could be worth $3. And who bought? Cameron Breitner's the director, bought, wow, 750,000 shares at $3.14. At $3.14. So when did he buy? Oh, he bought real recent, $5.29. I was thinking he bought way back here. I just want the regular chart here. Oh, I did have it up. All right, whatever. I mean, $1.50 seems cheap, even for this. Got 326 due. Don't have a ton of cash. They're burning a stupid amount of cash. Holy smokes! I don't know. I mean, this might have been even too risky for me. Like, I understand why people are shorting this. All right, operating leases, though, are about half of it. Oh, they have preferred shares. Ugh, is that really... not paying anything out to it. Man, some of these companies, they come out and they just, like, they sell so much. Like, it's crazy to me that they sell preferred. They sold all these shares. They have all this debt. maturing on March 28th, so they have plenty of time for that. A second tranche up to 2029. When is it maturing? I don't see anything saying when it matures for this revolving credit facility. Whatever. Either way, the senior secured is that 2029, and that's what, 500 million? No, that's a 1.7 million secured term loan facility. Okay, so that's part of that. Oh, okay, so that matures on the 28th. Okay. I mean, so they do have time. That's the thing, is like these things, they get so low because it looks so ugly. Like, don't get me wrong, this looks horrible. it's such like a bad, it looks so bad. But just in what they owe or what they hold in book value, and the fact that they still generate some cash flow from operations, technically even on a long-term basis, they generate free cash flow. You know, you could see these guys pivot a bunch of these stores off, deleverage the leases. There's things they could do. My worry would be that they would dilute shareholders here. James Roth has been appointed Chief Stores Officer. Who's James Roth? Why do I know that name? Started at Huron. Alright, he's been on a bunch of different boards. Either way. So he bought 314 on 529. What does that look like? Not bad. I mean, he's still up 25%. I guess it shows some kind of confidence in their ability to turn this around. And I don't know, maybe they can restructure that debt or something. I mean, like I said, they have plenty of time. They have till 2028 at least for the first part. But what do you do over the next 4 years to totally improve these numbers? I mean, this is just a really rough year. But there's a lot of competition here for Petco. I mean, you got Chewy, PetSmart. I don't know how well PetSmart's doing. See, now if you had done the daily chart on this, this one told you to write it up nicely. That's what I'm saying. So, you know, on something like this where I normally wouldn't buy something like this, maybe when it gets down this cheap, I can start watching the chart and seeing if it really, because I mean, I feel like, let's say you didn't have the confidence even to get in down here, even though this is telling you to buy somewhere around here, it's telling me to buy here, which I mean, sick signal to tell you, because wow, that's like timed perfectly. Even if you got in somewhere on here, like all this breakout, like after this huge rise on the stochastic, it's still at $2, so you still could. And knowing there's short interest on it, because that's the other thing too, is like knowing how these things can happen. You know, you got a decent amount of short interest on the float. You got a company that everyone's assuming is going to die, but you have a huge time window of, you know, 4 more years until actually anything really becomes a problem. And don't get me wrong, this could easily trend back down. But at $1.50, I mean, and truly though, the 52-week low is at $1.41. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy low. And then he bought 750,000. I mean, okay, there's 300 million shares, so the amount he bought doesn't matter. But, and then what's the volume on something like this? It's actually down, but and when did we get our signal here? Like I said, let's say we're a little late, and we'll say we get in here at the. It opens at 225 there. Okay, let's say we got in at 225. Oh, sorry, what day was that? The 15th. So you get somewhere in here. So you're just starting to watch the volume come in. Yeah, and I mean, you know, it doesn't mean much to me, but there is enough people out here who they see a company short and they're just willing to throw cash at it. You know, and that's the other thing too, is like I said, if I'm focusing on keeping smaller positions, I could take, you know, a 1% position, 2% position, or something like that, and that way, if you're wrong, it's not a huge deal. But I mean, I feel like you should be somewhat confident on this, right? What is this? What am I on here? This is the daily one. Oh God. But like I said too, it's tough because told you to buy here and sell in there, which would have been kind of a mute point. So I don't know how you find the conviction down at the very bottom to actually know that this is the time it's going to break out. Because even on this, like if you're following this stochastic here, like this goes way up, so you would think that means that this price has just like flung through the roof, and it hasn't. It's went from $2 to 280 at the high. I mean, it's like nothing. 240, I'm saying, to 280. It's nothing. Then it comes right back down. So it does nothing. Does nothing to help prove anything. besides the fact, knowing that the short interest is that high, and that was May 15th that everyone found out that the short interest was that high, right? That's when they posted it. And that's when the stock really starts to pop. Is that right? I wish I knew. So this says May 15th. And shares short is from April 15th. So they must update that every month. So on April 15th is when people realized that 25.88 million shares were short, which is about a third. Okay, so that's where they're getting that number if 83 million is the float. And that was on April 15th. So that's the other thing I'm trying to figure out too, like narrative-wise too, on some of these pullbacks here. Maybe this is where you start to follow it, and then like that would be something that could be like a signal to yourself to keep an eye on it now. Because like I said, you know, here, and this is, I feel like the whole point of deep value is that, you know, you're going into this, and anybody who's a value investor typically is going to see this balance sheet and see these numbers and be like, nah, I'm not buying this. This is garbage. And like, yeah, I get it. It looks rough at the moment, but is there, you know, anything else going on with it? You know, and then you get the insider buy too in terms of conviction. Like that's a good sign. I'm actually surprised he waited to buy. You can also triangulate the consumables growth is expected to be up 4%. Noticeably, 4% is the forecasted market growth rate of consumables by the American Pet Product Association in 2024, which means WOOF introduction of value brands has allowed it to stop losing market share. The turnaround is successful at least 2 times current price, if not more, given the levered balance sheet versus the downside, down to possibly $1 a share, so 67% decline. There needs to be a strong chance that WOOF turnaround fails to justify this asymmetric return profile. Given that we're seeing a possible inflection point in the turnaround, I don't believe that is the case. And this is on May 28th that he posted that. Well, so far that's worked in his favor, but like I said too, that could be the shorts getting out. Where is this? Oh my gosh, these tabs. I mean, how is earnings down $4? Like, I get it, they need a turnaround, but that just seems insane. All right. All right, OPAD Solutions provides tech-enabled platform for residential real estate, streamlined data-driven iBuying and real estate solutions. It uses a holistic customer-centric experience. So you basically can buy and sell homes on your own through like an app. You can do it with or without an agent, and operates in approximately 1,700 cities and towns. So kind of all over. Cash flow is all over the place every year. It's a little bouncy. Let's just go with all right, so at an upper range I get like 638. So it's at $5 now. So diluted shareholders margins look terrible. And what were they when they were decent? Were they ever decent? It's been really up and down. Like some years, like you got 900 in revenue, almost $1 billion. Then you got 3, and then back to $1 billion. Like what is going on there? They have cash, but they're taking on debt now. A lot of debt. Is this... No, they don't actually own the real estate, though. Right. Okay. They've only had one positive year in terms of earnings. But they did have some insiders. But pretty small purchases in the grand scheme of things. So this is what I'm talking about. Like down here, I see this huge drop. Maybe this is where I would be more interested in starting to watch to see if it breaks out. Like it's almost telling me it's about to break out down here. Maybe this would be a good example, you know, going forward, seeing something get down to now. I think it's kind of in the value range. Granted, it's not the first time it's had like a decent drop, but we're talking $7 some recently. You know, it's up to $8 in April, and now we're below in June. And they're a young company, so I'm not really worried about everybody loves it. It's a lot of selling. I mean, he's not wrong. He called this in February 13th to sell, and it's down almost 50% since he said that. So he's not wrong. They don't even have a new CFO yet. Company has beaten revenue estimates in all but one quarter for dating back to September 21. 6 out of these revenue beats have been by at least 18%, and so they are growing. Sticking with revenue based on 2024's expected revenue of $1.67 billion, the company is trading at a price-to-sales multiple of just 15 cents. However, the debt situation, the fact the company is expected to be even non-GAAP profitable only in 2026 makes it almost possible to make a case for undervaluation here. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's substantially discounted by any means. There's definitely limited upside. They did already do a reverse split, he's warning. It's good to know. All right, yeah, not too pretty, but does have insider. And we are at 52-week lows. So this will be a good one that I'll want to keep an eye on. So for instance, you know, if it gives a breakout here, which it's just saying it's breaking out, like literally just saying today. This one didn't cross over, so maybe not. Maybe it's not totally there yet. This would be another thing I'll have to do. I'll have to go through these. Like I definitely own some of these companies, or I've looked at them. Most of these actually. I mean, to be honest, most of these are pretty rough. That's why they're so shorted. All right, Mastercraft. Mastercraft, I did take a position in, so just to be clear, I'm long Mastercraft right now. I feel like they're just even though it's down right now, I just think it's a cyclical rough time. I think they're gonna continue to produce how they have been. I think it looks good even at these numbers. It'd probably be a little bit longer of a hold for me. Unless the technicals tell me to get out. But I mean, you know, they've had one year. I mean, technically, you know, let's not look that far back, but 1 year that's been negative earnings. Everything else has been positive. They don't have a ton of debt. They're paying shares back. Or buying shares back. There's insider. Book value's climbing. They've kept CapEx kind of under wraps here around 24 or 23 million. And once they paid that special dividend, so not that I expect anything, but it's in the back of my mind. And it's Coliseum that is the 10%er, and these guys have been purchasing non-stop, so see, this one told you to buy way down here at 20, which was a good call. So it's kind of cyclical if you look at the chart here. I mean, granted, this is only 6 months, but on a daily chart, I mean, it holds up pretty well. I mean, it can be really up and down though. But I say really up and down, but price wise, it's not that crazy. Like a couple bucks. What is an actual? I just want to see the regular chart too. Yeah, so just kind of bouncing around down here. I just want to look at a longer chart. So yeah, it always trades kind of high. I mean, upside might be limited here, but I'm kind of happy to hold these guys just because I like the business. And I know Johnny's talked about him. I think he's I think he might have been the person who first turned me on to him. So see if there's anything else to look at for these guys. It's 2019. Oh my gosh. Let's see if anyone's talking about him. Yeah, insider buy. Because I agree. I think it's a good time for that's old. Nothing. Just nonsense. Right, keep closing some of these windows. All right. Sadly, I do got to get going, guys. I'll have to get through these last few. Either maybe Johnny and I can do them on there, and also, like I said too, I'm behind on the stuff from this week too, so I'll have to get caught up here. But Titan Machinery. Just pulling this up real quick. It looks decent. Cash flows are negative this past year. I'm gonna get drawn into another one. So, all right, I'm gonna call it there. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hope everybody has a good rest of the week. Johnny should be on Thursday. I believe last time we talked, he said he was on his normal time. So definitely tune in if you guys are able to, and we'll see if Roaring posts anything. I don't think he did, or it wasn't on here, right? It's on Reddit. Let me see if he actually posted anything on Reddit. He's deep, right? Don't read his name, children. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing. So I don't know. That's why it's so weird to me that he's been posting like this. And like I said, I don't care. You can do whatever you want. But it just seemed like there was more that was coming down the pipe, and I feel like there's just been no news, which is it's kind of strange. But yeah, we'll see. And yeah, I'm gonna keep playing around with the technicals. You know, I'll probably end up using more like, yeah, I know today I was using kind of like daily stuff like that, but I'll probably use more like weekly or monthly, or maybe even a mix of the three, and try and see if I can correlate things across them. And like I said, it's just to help improve some small timing of things, and also to help trim, because you know, that's one of the things I realized too is some of these positions especially can get big for me, and you know, you get kind of concentrated as something blows up. Making sure that you're trimming that at the right time, because like I said, you know, I get it. You know, some of these things are long-term holds, but that's not how this portfolio. I'm not holding stuff for the long haul in this portfolio. I have a totally different portfolio where I put stuff in it, and you know, some of it I honestly don't even look at because I plan on holding it for the long haul. So just trying to figure out ways, because like I said, it's not totally my style to go in and out of things, but I think I need to just try and keep the process somewhat quick, because I don't want things to take too long. I want to be able to try and capture some of these jumps that you'll see, like here, for instance, like, you know, and do I think this could climb up to around 30 some bucks? Sure, which for me would be a 30% return. So if that could happen in a time frame that's, what is this, September to February, so in 4 or 5 months, that's reasonable to me. 5 months, I guess. That's a good enough time period for me that I would happily take that return on a company like this that I think fundamentally is good. Like sometimes, like, you just might as well have that in a portfolio. All right, I'm gonna update some of the thumbnails and stuff on some of the videos, because I'm behind on everything here. Oh my gosh, I feel like it's never ending trying to keep up with everything. But everyone, hope you have a good rest of your week, and I will see everybody. I believe we're doing the stream Saturday. We haven't talked if we're gonna adjust the time, but we'll put it on X if anything changes. Yeah, always check on X if you guys are interested in actually watching the stream live, because that's where Johnny and I put on the. If anything gets adjusted with the time, and we're still working on trying to get the times down. I was possibly thinking of switching my night. I don't know, maybe do a Monday or something like that. Sometimes on Tuesdays I'm just tired. Today I felt okay, but it just depends. So I'm just trying to play around and see what works for me. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else. So have a good one, guys. Cheers.